Love him, hate him, Patty Mayo.
The YouTube account is called Patty Mayo, and it has 4.7 million subscribers.
For 100 different complaints he had received regarding Patty Mayo.
The Patty Mayo situation.
Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo.
Oh, Patty Mayo.
Patty Mayo. Patty Mayo.
What's up, guys? I'm Patty Mayo. Welcome to the hunt. Here with Zach Attack.
I looked on Google Maps. It looked like there possibly could be 2 driveways, but it could also be the neighboring property. So when we get there, let's just try to block the driveway in. There's a fence blocking us in. They just staring. I got 3 adults, 2 children. Who just ran inside that garage? Is that Jake? Back up. I'm with the bail bonds company. Read my fucking vest. Don't play games with me. I saw him run. D, deal with these 2 fucking hens. Back out of my face. He who just ran in here. You, then get out of my way. Then you get out of my way because you're lying. You're lying and you're harboring a fugitive. You're lying and you're harboring a fugitive. Back up. So you know he was here. You're admitting he was here?
In the 20th century, the point of cop shows were to honor the bravery which police exhibit every day, while illustrating the moral complexities of the work they do. But in the 2010s, one man changed the scene completely.
If your brain was as big as your tits, for real. But it's not.
He made America realize that what they really wanted were cops powerful enough to tell a woman she has huge boobs, and then in the span of 15 seconds also threatened to shoot a dog in the head.
He will get a 9. Oh yeah, tell him to get him if you want me to shoot your dog in the head. That's fucking smart. That's not cool.
The media typically portrays law enforcement as more honorable than they really are. But in the 2010s, we saw a 5'9" YouTuber reach the heights of fame and fortune for being less just, less fair, and more cruel than the real cops he tries to emulate. The cart truly has come before the horse. Today's Dark Web Connoisseur video delves into the life and times of Patty Mayo, a transformative figure who delivered the police entertainment genre an extreme dose of democratization. In 2017, he began work on his Southland Bounty Hunters YouTube show, posting bi-weekly arrests of what he called real fugitives. He quickly became known for his tough, no-bullshit disposition, even when dealing with criminals as dangerous as the elderly and single mothers.
I'm a single mom, I am all they have.
Having released nearly 200 videos ranging from 12 minutes to an hour long, Patty Mayo has not only amassed 1 billion views, 5 million subscribers, and collaborations with Jake and Logan Paul.
Huh? No, what are you doing?
What's this?
My dick, bro.
He's also inspired a myriad of other YouTube cops to join the fray. What's so dark about this genre of content creator is that when you take away the goofy tongue-in-cheek antics, what you'll see is tens of millions of people cheering on what are essentially privatized extra-legal death squads who can bust open your door at any time, tase you, beat you and your family up, and all just because you missed a car payment. The United States can be divided into 2 warring factions, those who dream of being a cop and those who dream of being a content creator. Since the 1970s, the nation's content creators have learned to keep the cops at bay by throwing them morsels of gruel in the form of your Michael Chiklises and Kiefer Sutherlands. However, in the 90s, Cop America changed the channel, rejecting epic morality tales in favor of something raw, something real. They wanted shows like Cops where they could watch a man get tased for loitering in the parking lot of a Quiznos. At the end of the day, there was a reason why an Emmy award-winning drama like The Wire only ran for 5 seasons, while Cops remains one of the longest-running shows in American history. Cop America longed to be entertained by one of their own. Subsequently, the internet was ripe ground for the creation of something new, a podcaster/cop hybrid who would possess unprecedented power levels. He would have to be desperate enough to strive for internet stardom, but still have that kind of ham-fisted anti-charisma of an officer doing the nay-nay in a video marked as popular on Facebook.
Crazy, but here's my number. So
For a while, this hybrid podcaster slash cop chosen one, this master of two worlds that could satisfy America's depraved desire for both justice and entertainment, they'd yet to be seen. That was, of course, until Patty Mayo. The key to Patty Mayo's success is that his content appeals to broad audiences, from 45-year-olds who wish they were a cop instead of a sales supervisor, to hellbent incel zoomers whose only problem with Jake and Logan Paul videos is that they don't feature enough police brutality.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. I'm riding like a horse. This is crazy. He's strong. I'm putting you to sleep now.
Don't resist. Stop resisting. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. Get that other hand. Put that right hand behind your back, sir.
Stop resisting. Bring your right hand back.
You're bound up. You're bound up. Come on. Come on completely. You're bound up.
Watch your right.
Stack them up. Stack them up. You got them.
You didn't have to do it.
Stack them up. You got them. There. Yeah.
It didn't have to be like this, Freddie. Hey, guy. They have SpongeBob in jail. It won't be too bad, okay?
But more importantly, the average Patty Mayo viewer has a specific personality type which spans across every generational set that I'll call the aspiring cop. This is a key demographic of people who aren't cops themselves, but find the cop ideology to be empowering in their everyday lives. It's a crowd he won over with his famous Bounty Hunter series, a lengthy documentary-style show in the vein of Cops or Dog the Bounty Hunter. Unlike those shows, though, the subject of your average Patty Mayo video isn't actually a dangerous criminal. In more than a third of his most popular videos, there's a whole new and equally dangerous menace, all too familiar in the lives of the aspiring cop. That's right, the blonde with the yapping problem, the entitled mum who's too self-interested to parent her kids, the soldier's wife guilty of having too much fun. No female stone has been left unturned by Patty Mayo. It's a criminal profile he seeks to target directly. On the casting website Backstage, one P. Thomas made a post looking for 18 to 28-year-old fit, attractive girls with outgoing personalities in the LA area who love improv comedy. And if that doesn't sound like a felon, well, I just don't know what to tell you. Is this evidence that Southland Bounty Hunters is a complete fabrication? It's hard to say. This could be a honeypot used to catch more criminals. We may never know. In any case, it isn't about anything necessarily wrong that they did. It's the type of people they fundamentally are, and especially in these huge viral hits, it's about the way they respond to violent authority, which is to say negatively. It's less an anarchistic objection to authority and more like this belief that girl privilege is enough for them to fly through life unscathed by the rules.
A ladder and a shovel, okay.
They're a bikini-clad babe who thinks she can attack an operator with a shovel just because she's hot.
Come on. You want to be tased?
You want some of it? You want some of it? Let's go. Get down.
They're a crazy girl who's deluded enough to think that if she hides in a sink that the authorities will just go home. But perhaps most revealing is the way Patty Mayo portrays mothers as reckless, drunk, selfish retrogrades. Because to Patty Mayo, there's just something about big, low-income single mum that's just had it too easy for too long.
Right, here's the deal. If you had picked up
The system is f***ed up. That's all it is.
If you had picked up a new charge, okay, if you had picked up a new charge, you could be going to jail regardless, okay? But I'm here to work with you, not because you missed a charge, because you missed payments. This is all about payments.
I know
and we
that.
understand
That's why this is ridiculous.
We understand your financial hardship. We understand you're a single mother.
It doesn't feel like it.
Really? Because when you didn't have the 10% to get out and your ass is crying that you want to get out of jail to go be able to pick up your kids at 2:30 in the afternoon, who gave you a payment arrangement? We did. Who let you out with $0 down? We did. Then you blow us off. After we work with you, after all that we did for you, you just blow us off, not even giving us a chance to say, hey, Patrick, I really can't pay. I really have no money this time, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm being a single mother. I'm taking care of my kids. I just can't pay you right now. You don't think we understand that? You don't think we let you go a little bit longer?
No, nobody ever has.
Okay,
Nobody
you
ever
haven't dealt with us. You haven't dealt with us. But when you pull this bullshit, this does not help your situation.
Right.
This right here makes me want to tell you to go yourself, bring you back down to jail, and let you deal with it from there. Let you sit in jail, let DHS take care of your kids. Then what? Then where does your attitude get you? Where does all this shit get you?
That's why I'm working.
So why not work with me? Why are you being mean to the only people that are helping you? Veronica, you're under arrest.
Okay.
Stop fighting.
Okay, I can't breathe.
Stop fighting.
Okay.
Stop fighting.
Okay.
If you go to jail today and you don't get out for 2 weeks, what's going to happen to your kids? Where are they going to go?
Probably into the system. I don't know.
Okay, so if I take you down to jail today, that's going to put you out of work for today, tomorrow, the next foreseeable future, right?
Yeah.
And you're not going to have the ability to get back out with another bail bondsman, are you?
No.
You think somebody else is going to be willing to work with you as nice as we have?
Probably not.
Not given this behavior today, right?
No.
So what do you think I should do? If you're in my position, what would you do with someone like yourself?
I'd probably walk away, but I hope that you don't.
You probably walk away?
Yeah, I mean, people like me are lost causes, right? So.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you the biggest chance I've ever given anybody. Okay? I'm going to allow you to remain out on bond with no payment. However, you will show up this coming Friday to the bail bondsman's office and do his yard work. If you miss court or you miss this opportunity that I'm giving you, there'll be no additional work. There'll be handcuffs. Okay? You have an opportunity to remain out on bond.
There are so many gut-wrenching things about this clip, but something I'll bring up here is that in the US, the bail bond system is made up of private companies. And as much as Patty Mayo would like to say that bounty hunters do what they do for all these heroic and charitable reasons, in reality, these companies give loans to people hoping that they can do one thing: make money. So make no mistake, when a bounty hunter like Patty Mayo does something like break into someone's house, wrestle them to the ground, cuff them, and threaten to ruin their life, it's because ultimately there's a financial incentive to. And yet in this clip, he's so desperate for her respect. So out of her love to her family, she's pressured into accepting his view of the world and into doing unpaid manual labor for his boss because she has no other choice. And even more tragic than that is the fact that to Patty Mayo, this is a heartwarming ending and a win-win for everyone. And yeah, there's something undeniably pornographic about the content Patty Mayo makes. Although it is hard to describe, he seems to make content for guys who love to watch the part of porn where the guy talks, preferably scolding some girl for shoplifting a $12 bottle of moisturizer or for being late on their rent. They're sitting there thinking, what if this video was 22 minutes long, it had no sex, no nudity, and instead of this mumbling, half-hearted improv just going for the first 5 minutes, he just doesn't stop talking for the entire video, repeating the same lines over and over again just to pad the video out and get more ad revenue.
On the ground. Go down on the ground. Go down on the ground. Down on the ground, bro. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Drop it and get on the ground. Drop it and get on the ground.
Patty Mayo is porn for guys who find the act of jerking off to women almost too respectful in a way, too vulnerable. If any Patty Mayo viewers are watching this disappointed that their hero is a lot less authentic than they thought, consider this. On the backstage post where Patty Mayo implores young women to audition for his show, he lists the payment as $50. That's right, they're getting roughed up, yelled at, and tackled to the ground for hours on set, all for the price of a pre-owned copy of Mario Tennis. So if your hope was that Patty Mayo was actually ruining these people's day and humiliating them online, don't fret, he's basically still doing that anyway. Now, given all this information, it shouldn't take a cop to understand that Patty Mayo is a fake cop. However, there is another hugely popular cop on YouTube that's made several videos doing exactly that.
You may be asking yourself, Donut, if you know they're not real, then why are you making a video about them? Because I think it's irresponsible to show almost 1 million followers, a lot of them who are probably young adults, that this is the way you use a gun, or this is the way that you conduct yourself in a line of work like this, or this is a way that you take people into custody. A lot of people think that this is real, and hell, I could be wrong, but I need to point out exactly how tactically ridiculous some of the things in this show are.
He goes by Donut Operator, a tag which presumably combines the word donut, a favored snack among police officers, and operator, a term originally used to describe members of military special forces who are the most valorized kind of troop. Now, Donut Operator may not be a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL, but in the 2010s, operator came to describe anyone in uniform or not. Gradually, as time went on, and as those conflicts became politicized, that authority became co-opted. Suddenly, identifying as an operator was just a way to signify that you possess the bravery and rugged masculinity of our best and brightest on the front lines. And since dropshippers and other digital marketers have found incredibly developed ways of commodifying these imaginary identities, the operator culture has become a kind of national lifestyle brand sold by YouTubers, manufacturers of tactical pens, umbrellas, water bottles, and hearing aids, and bought by divorced guys off Amazon.
Nick Bolton here with the latest and smallest tactical innovation for Bell & Howell. We call it the TAC Amplifier. Place the TAC Amplifier in your ear for enhanced hearing like you've never experienced before. Tired of people complaining about the volume of the TV?
She's sleeping.
With the TAC Amplifier, you can turn the TV down low and turn your hearing up high.
And honestly, isn't it a sign of how far we've come that you can be on YouTube watching a failed comedian pretending to be a bounty hunter, being criticized by a cop, pretending to be a troop, and somehow feel like the latter is a voice of reason? Anyway, in his work about Paddy Mayo, he makes 2 points. The first is that Paddy Mayo could never be a real operator because he's rude, abusive, unnecessarily violent and cruel, and displays flagrant disregard to the safety of himself and everyone else around him.
Osco in chat says so much swearing. Yes, they are quite unprofessional when they talk to people. Again,
And that's just something real world cops don't do.
You want to be a sarcastic bitch? No. I'll be fucking a bigger bitch.
Hey, over here. Over the side of the road. Get over there. Get your license out right now. I didn't do. You're doing 150 and you're driving like an absolute cock, mate. No, I won't. License. There's your key. On my shoulder. Mate. Yeah. You know what? I'll snap you in half in a minute. How's that sound?
They've never done that. Another point here is that Paddy Mayo's videos barely resemble the jobs which bounty hunters actually work. It's incredibly rare that bounty hunters will have to resort to use of force, since a judge won't let a suspect out on bail if they're believed to have a history of violence.
Yeah, so, bounty hunting is like, real bounty hunting is like inherently boring and just like not as exciting as everyone thinks it is.
Yet his entire channel is built around this incredibly uncommon situation.
Oh yeah, no, if my show is real, I'd like single-handedly be like the most, like have the most use of forces out of any officer anywhere. I think the DOJ would be very concerned.
But even more confusing is another popular format you might see on his channel, where he acts as a repo agent. Interestingly, there are really tight laws which surround these repossessions in the US. Legally, they're basically tow truck drivers who are allowed to stealthily take back a lender's car. They aren't allowed to get into an argument about it, and they aren't allowed to breach a gate or driveway. But my point here isn't just about poor research, it's that his fans are cheering on a form of authoritarianism which is so powerful it doesn't even exist yet. Currently, repo agents aren't cops, and it's not illegal to default on your loan. But in his videos, people are brutalized as if that was some kind of high felony. And bizarrely, the further his videos are distanced from reality in this way, the more views he gets. The second point he raises is that some of the revealing details of Paddy Mayo's life aren't particularly well hidden, and seem to tarnish his authenticity as a rough and tumble Blue Lives Matter Chad. Born in 1987, Paddy Mayo, or Patrick Tarmy, was born with that one essential quality which every great self-made media sensation shares: a wealthy father in the media industry.
I've always been into media editing. I worked in infomercials with my dad for a long time. He had an infomercial company.
This doesn't come as too much of a surprise. In fact, his father may be a reason as to why he is incredibly talented as an advertiser.
I'm here at Rob's house. Rob's girlfriend called me and let me know his balls are pretty rank and he hasn't shaved in quite a while.
My boyfriend, like his balls.
His balls stink.
What? Babe, I'm shaving my balls
It-
like you asked.
Rob, it's the Manscaped police, bud.
Oh shit. I know this bad.
Your girlfriend called me over here today because she says you've been having some issues with your balls.
That's bullshit, man. I shave all the time.
Okay. Rob, I'm gonna help you out today, okay, bud? She can't be giving you BJs if you smell like onions and potatoes. It's a 24-hour ball deodorant. So you're gonna wanna use that on your nuts. Now this may look like a cologne, which it is, but it's a cologne for your balls.
No.
Yeah, I would shoot you square in the face.
In his early 20s, he began enacting a brilliant and time-tested entrepreneurial strategy, that is, to start multiple high-investment, high-risk, low-reward businesses based around very specific activities that you personally enjoy doing. In 2012, he opened a Wipeout-style jungle gym for adults, praised by Yelp reviewers as a, quote, death trap. In the same year, he started Stronghold Ops, a recreational airsoft rifle facility in Massachusetts, catering to men who aspire to military service and children having birthday parties between the ages of 12 and 16. While some have argued that Paddy Mayo's use of airsoft rifles in his videos is evidence of their inauthentic nature, it's totally possible that this might be a sneaky Easter egg for die-hard fans who know his backstory well. Most importantly, in 2012 he also started paramotor tours, where punters could book a flight in a type of paraglider propelled by a huge fan. As Donut Operator notes, this is probably where he met Jared Leasick, who currently works as the field producer, DP, and casting director for the Paddy Mayo channel, in addition to being the owner of a plumbing business and a YouTube channel where he dives for sunken treasure. And it's clear that their passion for the sport was a point of similarity between the two. Leasick even writes on his website about his love for paramotors, saying, "My heart hurts that she asked I not attend her graduation. It hurts that she and her husband don't respond to my texts or emails. Sorry, I don't think this is right. For the time being, I've given up reaching out as to not drive her further away and wait patiently for the day she lets me back into her life. Sorry, I meant to read from the hobbies section, but I accidentally read from the family section instead. Sorry, hobbies. Aside from scuba diving and disc golf, the one hobby I think about and talk about almost daily is powered paragliding. But unfortunately, Leasick's life hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows. In 2001, he was accused of running a stock manipulation scheme with his brother Byron Leasick, who also works on the Paddy Mayo channel. Commanding an army of 13,000 newsletter readers, he and Byron would often cause penny stocks to double in price before selling only minutes after. Now, the SEC has called this a pump and dump scam, but on his website, Leasick makes a really good point in response. If it was really that bad to make hundreds of thousands of dollars from manipulating stock prices you're shoveling to your friends and family, wouldn't he have received a little more than what he calls a slap on the wrist? It's not like law enforcement agencies have extremely lax attitudes towards white-collar criminals anyway, and that's why I say this was such a pivotal time in Paddy Mayo's life. It was where he made the connections and learned the winning business strategies that got him where he is today. At this point, I have to bring up a 2012 news article from the pages of a local Massachusetts paper called the Salem Times. Fortunately for us, it's a fascinating story which teaches us a lot about a pivotal moment in Paddy Mayo's life. Unfortunately for him, it begins with the sentence, "Patrick Tarmy knew Tuesday was the 11th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks." Rather than seeing his actions as nefarious, I personally see his decision to fly his paramotor on 9/11 as an act of patriotism, as if to say to bin Laden's face, "Try and hijack this, you son of a bitch." Regardless, after getting into a heated argument with the officers who were called to the scene, Paddy Mayo was arrested on charges of disorderly conduct. Ultimately, he learned something important that day. When you're dealing with cops, it doesn't always help to have the truth on your side. "The only reason I went to jail was because I decided to argue with him," he said. "I'm going to express my opinion. I don't think it's fair to me. I don't deserve, and no one deserves, to be talked to like that." And really, you have to ask yourself, is it ironic that Paddy Mayo would go into fame and fortune off the back of laughing and gawking at people who were in the exact same scenario as him in this moment? Or did it logically follow, if you can't beat him, join him? He ventured into his media career on prank YouTube shortly after.
It was back when like Roman Atwood was getting really big. And I looked at these kids and I'm like, you know, I can edit at least to that quality and film to at least that quality. So let me just throw something out there and see if it works. And I did it, and I just fell in love with YouTube and creating and putting stuff out there. And I jumped on the prank bandwagon at first. That was like my whole, I had this French character called The Alibi. And it was like, there's like this totally ridiculous, like comical, like college humor, Van Wilder style comedy
This is a move you'd understand if you've also been inspired by those videos where some guy's girlfriend is super seriously mad after being epically pranked for what would seem to be the 15th time that month. Or where a grown man pretends to fart on children at the supermarket. Now, Paddy has removed all the prank videos from his YouTube channel, but a lot of it has survived, re-uploaded by other accounts hungry for clicks. From what I can see, he jumped between pranking his girlfriend into thinking he died,
Baby. Oh my god, baby.
pranking hot girls into thinking he's a gay Uber driver,
So I'm a smart water. I know people say you're gay, like, it's such a derogatory term. I am fake.
and pranking his fans into thinking he can do a Borat impression.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
When did you know that you wanted to become a feminazi?
Unfortunately, there's a big issue at the heart of the YouTube prank genre, and if you're familiar with these videos, you'll know what I mean. As entertaining as it is to watch some hospitality worker walking home after their shift only to be ambushed by a teenager armed with a GoPro, a chef's knife, and a $4 clown mask, one might get the sense that these victims are undeserving, or that it's somehow wrong to laugh at their expense. The Bounty Hunter series solves that problem. In every video, Paddy Mayo sets up the situation and is able to contextualize why the subject is deserving of this kind of violence and humiliation. Maybe they missed a repayment on their Chevy Silverado. Maybe their dad is a fugitive and they don't want to lose him. Or maybe they just have big boobs. Despite the fact that he's an incredibly popular and resilient public figure with deep connections to some of the most powerful and influential people in new media, prior to viewing this video, most of you probably will have had no idea who Paddy Mayo is. Because he pitches his work to his audience, he isn't on Twitter, and he doesn't get involved in internet drama, he's avoided becoming a form of cultural currency in the way other big stars have. You probably don't think of this website as the platform for people who like Paddy Mayo, and why would you? Because of the way it works, you probably think of it as the platform for the things you like, and advertisers think of it as the platform for things they like. That's by design. If all advertisers think YouTube is just a space for fake cops and the alt-right, none of YouTube's ad inventory will sell. The fact is, YouTube's stock goes up when you think of YouTube as, well, whatever your algorithm tells you it is. So there are a lot of people that see creators like Paddy Mayo as structural problems created by platforms like YouTube and the way their algorithms slowly radicalize people and turn them insane. Paddy Mayo might even seem like the epitome of this himself, an innocent paramotorist and practical joker that, with each year on YouTube, slowly morphed into the figurehead of a conservative death cult. But allow me to briefly play devil's advocate here and say that there's a chance that this change wasn't due to the lack of, but because of, firm policy changes on YouTube's behalf.
What was some of your very first stuff that you ever did?
I jumped on the prank bandwagon that I ran up until about 700,000 subscribers when YouTube's adpocalypse hit and the algorithm changed, and YouTube is like, we don't like the college humor, like the sexual humor anymore, and they wanted to like change gears, and so that kind of faded out. So that's when I created the bounty hunting show.
Let me explain what he's getting at. In 2017, in what creators called the adpocalypse, YouTube enacted a sweeping change to its monetization policy with the aim of making the content on its platform much more family-friendly. Here, Paddy's saying that after this happened, all of a sudden videos with titles like Uber Prank, Bad Girl Likes It Raw Gone Sexual just weren't bringing in the ad cash like they used to. So when Paddy Mayo's content shifted from innocent videos of a Frenchman asking to kiss women to the glorification of police brutality, it was, according to him, just a way of appeasing monetization policies which were supposedly well-intentioned on YouTube's part. Now, to be fair, he could just be lying, but still, it's a funny reminder of the unintended consequences of Silicon Valley technocrats playing God. Additionally, if you're looking at Paddy Mayo as a policy failure, you might seek to challenge the fraudulent nature of his content and the way it spreads disinformation about law enforcement. But another interesting nugget of information I'll chuck in here is that in the past year, in reaction to the criticism from people like Donut Operator, He's been saying that he depicts real criminals and real crimes. That's a lie, but it's a lie that blurs the line between reality and fiction in a way which would make Sean Baudrillard nut all over the outside of his polyester fleece.
Back in the day, we used to deal with like a lot of actors, and now we just deal with a lot of real people that just like have a cool story and are just badass people, or have gone through a lot and they just want to come together for like this insane adult playground. And
where do you find these people?
Everywhere and anywhere. I mean, we've had the parole office recommend us people. We've worked with organizations that help people coming out of the system to find employment. We find them all over the place.
Like Nathan Fielder and the Safdie brothers, Paddy Mayo has learned a key truth of filmmaking, which is that people from the real world do a much better job on camera than shitty actors.
So I wanted to have like some ability for the production crew to create stories and create different scenarios. So we can do like burglaries, we can do domestics, we can take stories that people have really experienced in their lives and recreate them. And so a lot of the, or I'd say a lot, but some of the episodes in the show are recreations of events that happened in those people's lives. And some are, you know, completely just new stories that we came up with. But
the point is that when it comes to charges of misinformation, people like Paddy Mayo are great at muddying the waters between lying and telling the truth. So if you're of the mind to try and fix these problems, you might have to dig a little deeper than just talking to the manager. Now, I need to address the deeply racial implications of millions of Americans watching some of their most vulnerable be brutalized by a man so white mayonnaise is literally in his name. The entire idea of the Southland Bounty Hunters show is to recreate the spectacle of police violence, and yet Paddy Mayo's relationship with race is more complicated than it seems. Earlier, I mentioned that in the title/thumbnail of his top 50 videos, a little over a third indicated that the subject was a girlfriend, wife, mum, or otherwise crazy broad. But in that same sample of his top 50 videos, only 2 indicated a depiction of a person of color. As well, let's briefly talk about Paddy Mayo's most popular video of all time.
Find Pineapple Juice Guy and who wrote that skit.
It wasn't written, that was just all just kind of how it happened.
In it, he shows up to arrest a man named Andrew Nelson, who, in the car park outside a local strip mall, is able to tactically evade capture and mock Paddy Mayo at the same time.
Bail bonds? Bro, you out here tacticaled up, looking like you, oh shit. How you know where I was at?
Bro, I can do this all day long, bro.
Hey, it's nighttime.
Get on the ground.
Let me whisper something in your ear.
Get on the ground.
It's really cool. You fast, bro, but you ain't fast enough!
When Paddy eventually takes him down, he continues to make light of the situation and even jokes as if he's getting a feeling of sexual arousal out of it.
My safe word is pineapple juice.
Stay just like that. Cross your ankles.
Ooh.
Cross your ankles.
We gonna take pictures? And watch your fingers, booty hole man! He's strong. Ooh. No wonder y'all together. Hey, real talk though. Every strong man got a sensitive side. You like doing the weird shit? What's your safe word? Hey, real talk though, in my car, I got snacks. Would you mind getting my snacks for me?
Huh? No.
There's a reason the video has been so popular. The actor playing Nelson has this kind of playful, observant wit and creativity, which Paddy Mayo, despite his best efforts, doesn't really have.
Do you know if that is like the most viral thing you've ever done, like off of YouTube? Like that's gotta be up there, right?
I got like 300 million views on Facebook. It's definitely one of the most
everywhere.
Definitely the most viral. And I was so frustrated. I just couldn't catch him. He just.
In fact, his performance is so great, the video might even be halfway watchable if it didn't feature a completely unnecessary use of force against the man as he voluntarily lies completely subdued on the ground.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm out of breath. It was fun. What are you doing? Ooh, oh, that's cute.
Stay just like that. Stick this hand up just like that. Don't move it.
The taser, a weapon which can be instantly lethal if the subject goes into cardiac arrest, is used as a punchline, almost as a way for Paddy to riff along with the man, trying to yes and him. But like the annoying short guy in your improv class who only does characters that have some variation of the Cartman voice, he just takes it way too far. And to me, what seems almost as bad as the reckless abuse of power as Paddy tases him, voluntarily subdued, is the fact that the line that actor came up with, "My safe word is pineapple juice," has made Paddy thousands and thousands of dollars in merchandise sales, while the guy himself almost certainly hasn't been paid a dime beyond the $50 he was paid to be in the video. That's less money than you'd pay for one of the pineapple juice hoodies on Paddy Mayo's merchandise website.
I don't like losing, and I lost that one. I lost that battle.
Did he have that planned in his head?
I have no
idea. Or did he just off the cuff do that?
I haven't talked to him since that night. I have no idea.
Get out of here. That's so crazy. I would be like best friends with that dude.
I don't even know his real name.
And when you think about it, isn't it iconic that Paddy Mayo, in creating videos to stand in as symbols of the racialized and sexualized power dynamics which exist in the US every day, actually recreates them a little bit himself? But despite the immense profits Paddy's made from the line, the video itself has been taken down from YouTube and Facebook, and since Paddy won't respond to my emails, I can only speculate as to why. Honestly, my hypothesis is that Paddy Mayo is actually aware of the deeply racial implications of what he does, which is why he's conscious of the optics of race on his channel and why, a week after the death of George Floyd, he posted that black square. But that kind of awareness is exactly the point. It's the reason why earlier this year, at a lot of Black Lives Matter protests, cops would kneel alongside protesters only to pepper spray them minutes later. No one wants to feel like a racist, but in a lot of cases, police brutality isn't a conscious decision. Rather, it has to do with the reflexive and socially manufactured fear officers feel when they see a person of color innocently reach into their glove box to grab their license. I can't read Paddy Mayo's mind, but pretending to be abusing the system he's abusing is just so inherently racial it doesn't even matter. So, even if the cast of these videos were 100% white, you have to ask yourself, why do so many Americans have this fantasy of watching someone getting brutalized just because they don't like a guy who, even in their fantasy universe, is only farming them for money and YouTube views? And why did he take the pineapple video down? Is he ashamed that his most popular video is the perfect symbol of the racial animus which propelled him into fame and fortune? And why is America the only country where bounty hunters exist anyway? And why was it legalized only 10 years after slavery ended? I can't answer these questions, but the video doesn't feel complete unless I ask them. Aside from the dynamics of race, there's another issue Paddy Mayo has to deal with on his channel, and that's his authenticity problem. Can anyone really watch this video of him busting into a guy's house to sell his view as a testicle shaver and still honestly believe that he's the real deal? To me, that's the enigma which lies at the heart of the Paddy Mayo phenomena. To his audience, for some reason, it doesn't matter that all his collaborators are just people he met flying paramotors. It doesn't matter that he posted on a casting website looking for extras for a fake bounty hunter show. It doesn't matter that all of this is provided by a guy who isn't a cop, was never a real bounty hunter, who's just a failed comedian hungry for YouTube ad dollars, who's surrounded by grifters and hasn't stopped grifting people his whole life. None of that matters. All that matters is being afforded half an hour or an hour a week when everything just stops. In the last 10 years or so in the US, there's just so many reasons why people seem to have completely lost hope. It could have been because they've had to look their parents square in the eyes, knowing that they won't be able to match their finances even if they tried. Perhaps it's something to do with the way American public space has this battle royale feeling to it, where any off-color remark or bad handshake might lead to being riddled with the bullets of some open carry psycho. Has this led to a Darwinist milieu where one must be the most psycho in order to survive? Or maybe it's because the public institutions they once trusted have left them for dead entirely. But one thing we know for certain is that insane revenge fantasies just aren't as common among people who feel secure, fulfilled, and safe. For many of us, when you've lost all hope in a better world and a better life, the only thing you have left to believe is that every dog will have their day. Paddy Mayo may not be real, but what he's doing is. It feels like every day we see these exact scenes, courtesy of dash cams, body cameras, and mobile phones. And here's the thing, Your alienation ends as soon as you can believe you're on their side. The real pill Patty Mayo viewers have to swallow isn't that he's a real cop, because deep down they know he isn't.
You know, some people watch the show and they're like, oh, this is fake, but it's entertainment and I love it. And other people are like, oh, I want to believe it's so real and I love it.
Rather, it's that Patty Mayo is on your side and whoever you hate is the one under the gun. If you do that, you're no longer just a guy on the internet who works at Radio Shack. You're a guy on the internet who works at Radio Shack but has a community, a sense of purpose, an enemy, and maybe a tactical umbrella you saw in an Instagram ad that cost you $130. There's a mutual exchange going on here. Allow this cancelled Slovenian trash monster to explain.
The Santa Claus story, you know. You ask a parent, do you believe in Santa Claus? Yes, are you stupid? Of course not. I buy the presents, but I pretend it for my children. Then you ask the children, do you believe? They said, no, we pretended not to disappoint our parents and together.
It's the same with Patty Mayo. By maintaining kayfabe, Patty Mayo gets fame and fortune, and his viewers get half an hour a week where they can just sit back and watch pure, unadulterated justice rain down.
What's my point here? You have a belief which is nobody's belief. No one believes in the first person, but it fully functions as a social belief.
And here's another thing. I just can't stop thinking about that video from before where Patty gives a stern word to a young mother who had just previously attacked him with a whippersnipper. Patty violently arrests her, sits her down, and explains exactly what he's threatening to do. That he can arrest her, throw her in jail, and separate her from her children. The reason why? It's not about money, as he states quite clearly. She could have a $0 bond if she wanted.
I'll work with you the best I can. You have a low amount bond. This is not a high bond, okay? This is why I'm willing to work with you. And also because of your situation, I'm sympathetic to your situation, you being a single mother, not having a lot of support, okay?
Okay.
But I come back, and you ever, and I mean ever, treat me like this again, I will make your life f***ing miserable. I promise. You do right by yourself, and you do right by your kids, and you treat us with the respect that we treat you with, we'll have no problems. We'll be best friends.
He says, if I end up ruining your life, it will be for one reason. You didn't give me my due respect. And it's important to remember in these videos, he isn't even a real cop. He's a bounty hunter. He's not even saying you should be nice to him out of some sense of civic duty. He says, me and my boss were kind enough to exploit you for financial gain when you were in a time of need. And all I get in return is fear and loathing. It's the longest clip I decided to include in this video. And that's because you have to think, how many of these huge cultural clashes in the US are motivated by a powerful group of Americans openly admitting that what they lack is not authority or resources or justice, but is just respect. And when you watch stuff like this, you have to think, how far are they willing to go to get it? Thank you so much for watching my video. I had a lot of fun making it. I hope you enjoyed it. Big thank you to everybody who helped me put it together. And if you have any comments about the video, about Patty Mayo, about the future of Cop YouTube, or if you've had any weird interactions with law enforcement yourself, put them down below. I will be responding to every single one because I'm trying to farm interactions and because it's my first video. So do that. And also I'll be responding to every single person who follows me on Twitter as a result of this video, and every single person who subscribes to this channel. So do that, do as I say, and live your life. Okay, goodbye.